little bit last week. He doesn't get animated too much, but he fired up a little bit last week. Given we thought, off the back of 2007, we were the best team again in 2008.
What if I told you there was an AFL player who couldn't kick a goal the normal way, who turned chaos into art and stupidity into brilliance?
It's a lovely kick. It is a beautiful kick. The Cats.
A player so unpredictable that even his own coach didn't know what he'd tried next. That's Stevie Johnson, a man who lived on the edge, played with swagger, stuffed it up 1,000 times, and still became a 3-time Premiership hero, a Smith Medalist, and one of the greatest entertainers the game
Stevie J on cue, knows where they are. Can you believe it?
has ever seen. Stevie J wasn't just different, he rewrote the playbook. While everyone else obsessed over set shots and percentages, he curled bananas from the boundary, snapped goals from angles that defied geometry, and handleballed over his head just because he could. He was reckless, infuriating, and brilliant.
Plays on. Johnson. He handballs to Johnson, who kicks the goal.
All at once. But Stevie J's story isn't just about the goals, it's about a career that almost never happened. A player who nearly threw it all away before he became a legend, and a man whose mix of genius and madness gave the AFL some of the most unforgettable moments. Let's start at the beginning. Johnson was drafted by Geelong in 2001 with pick number 24.
Hand pass towards Johnson, not his intention. Johnson has a magnificent goal.
Not a bad number, but he was hardly seen as a surefire star. Geelong had a bunch of young guns coming through. Bartel, Ablett, Corey, and Stevie was seen as talented but undisciplined. That tag would follow him for years. He loved a good time, maybe a bit too much, and at a club trying to build a culture of professionalism, Stevie was the loose cannon.
Goals out the back tonight. Stevie J was run down.
By 2006, he was in trouble. He was dropped from the senior side multiple times, and off the field, he couldn't stay out of headlines. The low point came on New Year's Eve 2006 when he was arrested after a drunken incident in Wangaratta. Geelong suspended him for the first 5 games of the 2007 season. Many thought that was it. Stevie J had wasted his shot. But here's the thing, that suspension might have saved his career. While watching on the sidelines, he realized how close he was to losing it all. When he came back, he was fitter, sharper, and more determined. And what happened next was pure AFL theater. Round 6, 2007, Stevie Johnson returns against Richmond. He kicks 5 goals. He looks unstoppable. From there, he doesn't look back. That year, he became a key part of Geelong's forward line and what would turn into one of the greatest seasons in AFL history.
Forever the entertainer. Stevie J has done it again.
And then came the 2007 Grand Final. Geelong versus Port Adelaide. The Cats had been dominant all year, but this was their moment to prove it. And on the biggest stage, Stevie J turned it on.
A lot more running and linking. Stevie Johnson through the pack. This time.
He kicked 5 goals, tore Port's defense apart, and walked away with the Smith medal. From suspended party boy to Smith hero in the space of 9 months. That was Stevie J. Geelong smashed Port by 119 points that day, ending a 44-year Premiership drought. But in many ways, it was Stevie J's performance that defined the game, not just because of the goals, but because of how he kicked them. Check side from the pocket, impossible angles, moments of audacity that no one else would dare try. Over the next few years, Johnson became the symbol of Geelong's flair, while Ablett was a superstar, Bartel the reliable, and Scarlett the rock down back. Stevie J was the wild card. He did things that broke structures. He could drift through midfield, he could set up goals with freakish handballs, and he could kick bags from nowhere. 2009 was another peak. The Cats were gunning for redemption after the heartbreak of 2008, and Stevie was central again. He kicked over 50 goals that season, and in the grand final against St Kilda, he was instrumental, kicking 3 and setting up others. Geelong edged the Saints in a brutal contest, and Johnson had a second Premiership medal. By now, the AFL world had accepted that Stevie J was unlike anyone else.
5 meters out. It's coming back. You are a genius, Steve Johnson.
Coaches hated planning for him. Defenders hated playing on him. He was too crafty, too inventive. He'd kick with the outside of his boot when you'd least expect it. He'd fake a handball and snap before you could react. Every week, he pulled something new out of his bag of tricks. But with Stevie J, the chaos never completely disappeared. Injuries hampered him at times, and his disciplinary record was always under the spotlight. Suspensions came and went. He was always testing the line, sometimes too far. But that was the deal with Stevie. You couldn't cage him. If you did, you lost what made him special. 2011 brought more glory, another flag for Geelong. final, their third in 5 years, and once again Johnson was at the center of it. In the grand final against Collingwood, he played through a knee injury that would have sidelined most players. Not Stevie. He kicked 4 goals and helped seal another premiership for the Cats. 3 flags, a Norm Smith, and a highlight reel that grew by the week.
Yeah, it went really well. I was put through my paces in a pretty heavy session and I felt really good. So
At this point, Johnson was already a Geelong legend, but he wasn't finished. He kept producing magic well into his 30s. Who can forget his 7-goal haul against the Bulldogs in 2011, or the night he kicked 10 against Melbourne in 2011, an outrageous performance that only Stevie could deliver. Even as Geelong's dynasty began to fade, Johnson kept reinventing himself. He pushed up the ground more, became a creative midfielder, and was still good for 40 goals a season. His football IQ was off the charts. He saw space before anyone else. He knew angles no one else dared attempt. By 2015, the Cats were moving into a new era, and Johnson's time was up. Many thought he'd retire. Instead, he shocked the footy world by moving to GWS. Some doubted the move. Was a 32-year-old forward really going to make a difference at a young club? The answer? Absolutely. At GWS, Stevie became the mentor. He still pulled off freakish goals. Ask the Swans in that 2016 qualifying final, when he kicked 6 in a dominant display. But he also taught the young Giants how to play with confidence. Toby Green, Jeremy Cameron, and others all credit Stevie J for showing them the tricks of the trade. In 2016, GWS made their first ever preliminary final, and Johnson was central to it. Even in his twilight years, he was shaping big games. That's the Stevie J effect. He retired in 2017 with 293 games, 516 goals, 3 premierships, a Norm Smith medal, and a reputation as one of the most entertaining players in AFL history. But numbers only tell part of it. Stevie J's true legacy is the joy he brought to footy fans, the impossible goals, the cheeky grin, the sense that anything could happen when the ball was in his hands. Because, let's be honest, footy needs players like Stevie J. The game is built on systems, structures, and percentages. But Stevie reminded us it's also about fun, about daring to try something outrageous, about backing yourself to do what no one else would even attempt. He made mistakes, sure, plenty of them, but he also created moments that people will talk about forever. The boundary goals, the blind handballs, the no-look passes, the games where he turned the tide with pure audacity. Even now, years after his retirement, you'll still hear commenters say, that was Stevie J like. That's the mark of a true original. He changed the way we see forward play. He made chaos a weapon, and he proved that being different could win you premierships. From the kid who nearly threw it all away, to the champion who lit up MCG, Stevie Johnson's story is one of redemption, brilliance, and pure theater. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't polished. That's exactly why we loved him. Stevie J was chaos. Stevie J was genius. Stevie J was unforgettable. And that's why, no matter how much time passes, he'll always be remembered as one of the AFL's greatest showmen.